Good morning and welcome to the question of the week from Insights in Automation. My name is Sean Tierney, and this is the question for October 11th, 2024. If you'd like to get the full show, you can become a member over at YouTube or theautomationblog.com. But I like to take one question from the full half-hour show that starts at 8:30, where I do live Q&A, and I like to take one of those questions and share it with the public, so you guys can get some answers as well. And so with all that said, before we get into this week's question, I just wanted to point out that yesterday I released a new Slick 100 Quick Start course. This is similar to the, but much expanded, similar to the, I think it was an 8-minute video I did released this week where I talked about what you need to know. Well, this is step by step, everything you need to know in course format. I think it's over a half an hour. It's split up into different sections. Of course, you buy it once, you own it forever. And then if you had any questions on it, you can ask me there too. I also, as a courtesy, include a bundle of zip files of manuals for the Slick 100 that some of them Rockwell doesn't have on their website anymore. And as a courtesy, I also have the free software, which they used to give away and they stopped giving away. So that's all there for $9.99. So in any case, check that out if you're interested, or maybe recommend it to somebody who's having trouble or needs to use a Slick 100. I try to keep the price really low just to make sure that people who are in need can get access to it. And so with that, let's actually go to this week's question. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Okay, so this came in over from the Automation blog, and I can see that I need to move it up a little bit. Let's see if that's better here. Got multiple screens going on. So this came in from a reader over at theautomationblog.com, and he says, hey, I got a Slick 504. I also got an L32E, and I want to communicate between them using DH485. Can you give me an idea how I can start with this communication? He actually posted the question twice. Basically, this is what he needs. So here's the good news. Both of these units have a serial port, right? An RS-232 serial port. And I know the L32E supports DH45, and I think almost all Slick 504s do as well. Now, there may be some very old firmwares that don't. And if that's the case, you need to upgrade your firmware. But in any case, it's as simple as buying the chip that does the firmware upgrade. You can use it in multiple PLCs. So you typically only have to buy it once, and you can do all your 504s. But in any case, since they both support DH45 and they both have RS-232 ports, it's pretty simple to connect them together. Now, if they were in the same enclosure, right, you could just use a simple crossover cable. Since they're both DTE devices, they're both data terminal devices, right? They're both like computers, right? They're not peripherals, right? They're not DCEs. Since they're both DTEs, they have the same pinout, transmit and receive, transmit and receive. So you have to cross those pins to first transmit to go to receive, right? So 2 to 3, 3 to 2, right? For the 9-pin, right? 2 to 3, 3 to 2, 5 to 5. You guys can check me on that. But that would be great. And then you just set them all up for DH45. Now, some people might be saying, Sean, you're connecting 2 serial ports together. You're not connecting 45 ports together. I'm like, I know. DH45 is a protocol. It is not an electrical standard like RS-232 and RS-45 is. So DH45 works great across 232, and you start thinking about it, you're like, oh yeah, that's right. Everything I use, every time I connect to DH45, I'm going through a 232 port on my computer. So it's just a protocol, right? And so it works great over 232. Rockwell actually sells some products that have a DH45 port. There was a couple of them. That was actually an RS-232 physical port, right? So in any case, so it's a protocol. Think of it as a protocol. Now, having said that, if you're going between panels, NEC requires you to have an optically isolated connection to the network, right? And if you look at, I think the only one that had an optically isolated port was the original L30. Okay, maybe the L20 did too. But I know the 1769 L30, the original, right, had a, one port was unisolated, one port was isolated. I covered this in my Compact Logics course, and if I ever did a first look on it in one of my videos, I would have covered that too. Because it's just really interesting, because almost no Rockwell serial ports are optically isolated, right? They're all not isolated at all, which means you do need an isolator to go between panels. So even if your panels were side by side, right, and you weren't going to drill a hole between them, but you were to come out through the conduit and go from one to another, because you're under 50 feet, you're thinking I can just stay with RS-232. You can't, because you have to meet NEC, or, if you're just doing it in your garage, who cares, right? I don't care. But in any case, you want to be safe, right? So having said that, they're probably not right close to each other. They're probably not within 50 feet. They're probably a good haul away. And so you want to use RS-45, which can go 4,000 feet. And with DH-45, you can do up to 32 devices, although that may not be practical. But and you can do up to 4,000 feet. What I recommend for those is not a generic off-the-shelf 232 to 45 converter. You can try those. Have fun. But what I recommend is the official Allen Bradley 1761 Net AIC. Has a resistor built in if you needed it. The book for the AIC has all the connections and cables you need to make this happen. And yeah, you can get third-party cables and save $50 here and there, right? You probably could save $50 on getting well, assuming Rockwell hasn't raised the price up astronomically on the AIC, which they could have, I didn't check. But in any case, if it was me, I would buy two 1761 Net AICs. I would get the book for the Net AIC and see what cables I needed for, again, a 504 and an L32. It's going to be the same cable. They have a short little cable and they have a longer cable. I think these are straight through cables because I think the people who designed the AIC, I actually get to meet the guy who designed it once, a long time ago. In any case, I think they knew they were going to be plugging into the PLC. So I don't know if you need the CP3 or a straight through cable. I'm kind of thinking you need the CP3 or equivalent. But the book tells you everything you need. And, as far as doing the messaging and getting all that working, I actually have, let's see if we can go back to here. So I just searched theautomationblog.com for DH-45. I actually searched it first for DH-45 without the dash, and I didn't see what I wanted, so I had to search again. That's, over 10 years, I've used both tags, so shame on me. Actually, 12 years, 2013. So in any case, the one he wants is this one, message. ControlLogix reading data over Data Highway 45 from a CompactLogix SLC 500 MicroLogix. That'll show you the CompactLogix side of that. And I got all kinds of other stuff on DH-45. But, it's a small network. You're probably only looking at maybe, I don't know, 500-600 words, 800 words per second, but total for the whole network. But, it's pretty simple to put together, and it's available on inexpensive devices. So I kind of like it. Data Highway Plus is so much better, but so much more expensive too. So DH-45, even though people pick on it, it's like a very good and expensive network. It works. And yeah, so with that is this week's question of the week. Now, if you're a student, just a reminder that here in about 15 minutes, actually a little less, we'll be doing the weekly 1 hour student Q&A. If you're in any of my courses at the Automation School that are $48 or more, I think most of my courses start at $49.99, except for the real inexpensive ones like the $10 one I just showed you. Every week, you get an hour of my time. We didn't have it last week, though, because I had in-person training, so I can't be in two places at once. If I could, I would have been there. But in any case, so we'll be doing it from 9:30 to 10:30 like we do every week. There is a Teams link you need that is in I believe it's lesson 111. Okay, it's in all the actual courses, so just log into automationschool.com, go to lesson 111 in any course you're enrolled in. And if it's there, then you can use the Teams link to show up and ask questions. I call it office hours. The instructor in his office for an hour. That along with the PLC, the simulator that I give away for free with my PLC courses, with this Q&A show I do before this one, and in-person training. I think we're at the Automation School, we're blowing the competition away. Buy once, own forever. Some people charge you $500 a year to be in their courses. You can buy you can buy my mega bundle for $500 a year. So I think it went up to $599 inflation. Sorry. But yeah, buy once, own forever. We've been in business for 12 plus years now. So there are people who actually got into those courses during the launches when they're really inexpensive and are still taking them. They can go back and take them anytime they need to for refreshers. So that's the automationschool.com. If you're not anybody looking for PLC, HMI, or SCADA training, either online or in person in our facility, I did add some pictures up there that I showed in previous shows. If you go to theautomationschool.com and you click on in-person training, I added some pictures from the last few classes we did, and you can see what the training. It's not huge, but there is a huge one here right behind this wall that I can lease, but it's like $3,000 a month. So Yeah, so we don't want to raise our prices that high that we have to afford a $3,000 a month room. But in any case, that's it. I'm going to end the show here. I want to wish you all good health and happiness. And until next time, my friends, peace.